Hello there, welcome to my channel, New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. And we'll just say hello first of all to those that come on, so don't forget to do it. Those who are here at the beginning. Stephen Tina Jewell was here before I began, so congrats to you. And we also have Kaleidoscope of Happiness. YouTube, StreamYard have now changed where their things are now, hence my comment, silly StreamYard. So I don't know if you had the interruption of no picture, but they've changed where you enlarge it. As you see, because I've hacked my way in now, I get put over here. And to bring it out to the whole screen, I found how to do that. Now they've changed that without informing me, so that's why I was silly YouTube. But what I normally press, it made the screen go blank for me, so maybe on the countdown you got blank, I don't know, for a minute, but that's why if you did. Steve says good morning Dawn and Mike, and Kaleidoscope of Happiness, hello to you, welcome back to my channel. And she says sharing your channel, sharing it out. So just shared you out. Thank you for that. That really is appreciated very much indeed. It always helps. So, okay, so let's say hello to all of you. First of all, have I lost it? Yes. Let me just hack that one in. 1 second. I'll bring it up to you to say hello to you all. It's not there. Wait, here it is. There, got that one in the system now. Oh dear. Oh. Yeah, so basically I can't go into details because we don't have all the facts now, but we've just heard a member of our family has just died in the most horrific way. You would not be able to even begin to imagine what's occurred, not something you would expect or hear of. We're just getting the facts coming in. So if any of you sent me messages today, I haven't been able to get back to you, I'm afraid. We're trying to piece everything together from this end. So yeah, it's a lot going on. As I say, it's very horrific, but not something you would think of. So that is what we're dealing with. But I'm somebody who, if there's nothing you can do, you just carry on until a time that you know more, and don't pass around false information or make assumptions. Something I said to Mike, you can't assume just what you told until you hear the whole story. So we've got to get things from all sides. Someone's jumped on social media to say about it and put stuff on social media about what happened, not a relative. And I said to Mike, you've only got this much information from their point of view, and not the whole story. So yes, we've lost a member of our family. So that is something maybe I can share with you another time, maybe not. As I say, a bit horrific, so maybe best not. But we're dealing with it the best we can from here. Okay, let's start. First of all, today I've got lots of chat, lots of things to catch up with you with. So let's start with something we do quite often on a Wednesday, which is this. Oh, I'm small again. I wish I'd just come back how I was. Okay, so it's a question today. In Grease, the musical, the film of the musical with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, Olivia Newton-John played the character of Sandy. How good a fan are you? Do you think you know Greece? Well, if you're a super fan, you will know the answer. What was Sandy's surname? So the character Olivia Newton-John played was Sandy. What was Sandy's surname? Oh, that's a good bit of trivia for you. It's a great trivia question. If you don't know the answer, say to your friends, do you think you know Greece very well? And when they go, oh, yeah, most people know it fairly well. Ask them this question, or place a bet with them. You ask them something that they don't know. That would be pretty cool. So that is my question today for the puzzle piece. Let's do. Oh, Steve's just posted the link to Kaleidoscope of Happiness channel, and I've just seen it. I love what the handle is at Fun with Granny 9697. I like that. Fun with Granny. Steve doesn't know the answer. I like that you're honest and you don't just Google it. I wonder if I suppose you could Google it. Will it be there? Will people know that? I don't know. Okay, let's have a look. Other catch-ups. Let's do, I haven't done for a while, this one. Oh, well, a lot of fiddling around, clicking buttons. I used to do these interludes. I had time to grab my books or whatever else. And now I have to remember I'm not on the screen. I've got to put myself back on the screen. It's very annoying. It really is. I could leave myself small and let you see me going, oh, where's my books? Where's my books? Maybe I'll do that. It's easier, but I still have to bring myself back on big. Okay, last time I spoke to you about books, I was reading this one my friend gave me. Sarah Harrison is the author, The Dreaming Stones. And I thought I wouldn't like it, but I always say give a book a chance, start reading it, and you can always stop reading a book. And it was because it's going through three different people. And one is in Roman times, and that's a bit I thought I'm not really wanting to read that. And then there's two others. They start off I think in the 60s when they're at boarding school, and how their lives go completely different ways, but it all links up in the end. Even this Roman bit, it all links up in the end. And I particularly like one of the modern, I was born in the 60s. I like particularly one of the characters there. And I would give this 9 out of 10. So for a book I really didn't think I'd like, even the Roman bit got quite interesting as well, is when the Romans came, like the army, to England, and that's how it all links up in the end, because they find the ruins and find things that the child dropped when they're digging out foundations to make another building. So it all links up. It's very good. It's very cleverly done. And if I like a book, I tend to write down the author and then go on Kindle and look in the free books and see if there's anything else by the author. I'm contemplating keeping this one because it's extremely clever that you jump from each one, so you're following all three stories at once. But at the end, you could kind of start reading it again, because now I've read the beginning again. There's items in the beginning that they just say, oh, they're sitting in this chair. But at the end of the story, it's about where this chair comes from and who made it and what it was for. Whereas at the beginning, they just randomly say, oh, they're sitting in this favourite chair. So it does look, it's actually very clever. So I'm going to keep this for now. Put it in my pile of books to keep, because I think, yes, and you could even read it through again and find things that not make sense, but things you didn't even know were important. Like I say, a chair, they just talk about this chair. It's like, oh, the chair. And then like, oh, and it kind of finishes off and starts again, but it's not in age order. It jumps around a lot. So I'm going to keep that one for now. And then I picked up this one. This one's called, these are all from my friend, free, Waltzing the Cat by Pam Houston. There. And I thought, okay, what's this about? And I read the back. It says Lucy O'Rourke is a photographer whose work takes her around the world. She's smart, funny, competent and lovable, but prone to make some very bad decisions. Her life plunges her into raging rapids in Utah, on the path of an alligator in the Amazon, and into the eye of the Gulf Stream hurricane, not to mention a few natural disasters in the form of men. Each change of scene is a search for a home and a man whom to share it with. Each time she's disappointed by lovers who are afraid of commitment. Convinced that she isn't living the right life, she eventually finds a place on the Rocky Mountains, on a dilapidated ranch that might just be her safe harbour. This is the story of one woman's struggle for balance in a world that keeps pitching and rolling under her feet. Now, I don't know how to say it in modern terms, but she is a bit chaotic. Her life, she seems to go with people who are bad for her. Turns out her parents didn't really speak to each other and had a funny relationship and la la la. It's a lot about that, really. And it's lots, again, short segments. They kind of connect, but they don't really. It's like little odd bits. I'm not a great fan, although I have been able to sit and read it rather than like, oh yeah, I must read the next bit. I've read this much already. And it's more a case of I just want to finish it and see if I've got a better review for it at the end. Imagine, say, a newspaper where someone writes an article and then they just write a little bit each week or each month. It's snippets like that, but it kind of doesn't, it's not like one full story. It's like moments in her life. So it can be a bit on something, then jump to something else. It's just like her bad experiences, trying to find a boyfriend and that kind of thing. It's okay. I'm going to say 6.5 at the moment. It's not terrible. As I say, I can easily read it, but I probably wouldn't keep it, and I probably wouldn't personally recommend it for my type of book that I like. But it's okay. Maybe it's something, if you're someone who just reads very short bits at a time, maybe it's your sort of book rather than a long, lengthy story. But that is what I'm currently reading. Oops, that's my Newton's Cradle. You know Newton's Cradle? This, this. I have Newton's Cradle. Oh, my hand was way in the way then. So I have Newton's Cradle. I've had that since I was maybe 11 or 12. Steve's recommendations: Harry Flashman. He's a cowardly British soldier, Raken Cad, who is placed in a series of real historical incidents between 1839 and 1894. And this is Steve's big recommendation. He's always recommending it, and he can't recommend it enough. It's something. See if you can find that and try that. We've just been watching Phileas Fogg. I've never read it. I sort of knew the story, but I couldn't remember how it ends. Around the world in 80 days. And it's actually the film version with Pierce Bronson in as Phileas Fogg, and lots of cameos by Hugh Klugman. Oh gosh, I can't even tell you all the people that are in it. It's a really huge cast list of just cameo appearances, different people he meets. Oh, I forget his actual name, the French man who goes round with Phileas Fogg. That's actually played by Eric Idle from Monty Python and other things. And if any of you know the TV programme Hello, Hello, where they deliberately do really bad French accents, that's Eric Idle in this. And a couple of times he forgets he's even supposed to be doing a French accent. But it was good, and at least I got to see the ending. I got the ending right by guessing. So yeah, did he make it or did he not? And yeah, there's a little twist there, but I got it before the twist. It's on YouTube. Everything I recommend films, it's normally from YouTube. We don't have TV. And it's a 4-parter on YouTube, but each bit was about an hour and a half long, so you can save all the sections. Faux part two, very funny and a great travel story. Yeah, as I say, I've never read it. I don't think I've ever watched it. I think as a child, summer holidays, it was one of these, in the school holidays, there were different series, and I think there was a cartoon version of that. But with English school holidays, because boarding schools have longer holidays and normal schools have shorter holidays in England, you would never see the beginning of these school holiday things because you were still at school, and you never saw the ends. And then next holidays, this is before video recorders, next holidays, it would be the same few series like Heidi in episodes, Robinson Crusoe in episodes, but we never got to see the very beginning or the very end. Steve says he'd enjoy around the world in 90 days. What, you need an extra 10, do you? Oh dear. Okay, so that is what I'm reading basically. So let's do some more updates. Let me see. Let's do this one. I'll keep you on screen. Now, keep me on screen because I can't be bothered to come back and click again. So you see how I need time to get my bits out. So my cross stitch, I don't think I've shown you this for a while. My update on my cross stitch. So I've probably done quite a bit more. I'm just going to turn my light up a little bit so I can see better. Okay. So everyone's guessing as to what it is. So that, ooh, look, I did all the filling in of like the bottom lump, but now I'm traveling further across. So I think I'm going to carry on filling the bottom and then go all the way across the bottom, possibly. But there's still some more of this dark blue to go. So we've had quite a lot of answers yet. And as I always say, it's got a very specific title. So my example would be, if you think it's a statue, then you would actually have to say not a statue, you would have to say Statue of Liberty. So you see what I mean? It's got a very specific title. So it's something more specific than just a random picture. So that is my update of that. And that's actually 2 colours there, the sort of greeny, bluey colours. There's actually, there's more spools than these, but I mean, that gives you an example. That's one spool, the first spool of these colours. And that's the other one. So there's still tons to do. You only use one thread at a time, but double it over. Queen Victoria, says Steve. Not Queen Victoria. Not Queen Victoria, I'm afraid. So that's my little craft update. Let me just have a sip of water. Oh, I played the puzzle piece again while I'm doing that. So the puzzle piece of today, for those just joining me, is in the film of Grease with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newton-John played the character of Sandy. What was Sandy's surname? any ideas on that. Okay, let's move along to some catch-ups. Okay, so a little while ago, not that long ago, was it maybe a month ago? Maybe. I had a visitor here, a YouTuber from South Africa, and that was Sammy Gomez. She came here. I don't know if any of you have watched her channel. I have linked it below, so that's Small Urban Greens Homestead. I've linked it below. I remembered to do it today. So she came here and she filmed, she did 2 parts of the film, and they're linked below, where she toured my homestead. So if you want to see those videos of me, on her channel where she toured my homestead and was talking to me, then I've linked part 1 and part 2 below. And there is another collaboration with me and Sammy coming very soon to my channel. And I think, I said to her today, I think the first part of it will possibly be Wednesday next week. I think that's when I'll schedule my video. So part 1, there's going to be 3 parts to it. I will spread them out a little bit, so those that aren't interested in it can watch something the next day that I post. So look out for that. But do go and link on Sammy's videos below, part 1 and part 2 of her touring here. And don't forget, do drop her a nice little comment. I see she's quite short on comments. She gets views, but she doesn't seem to get many comments under any of her videos. So it's always nice to have a comment. So go and drop her a comment, say you're from my channel, because it's always nice to know where people are from, and also then she knows I'm sharing her links as well. So do go there. And she said she does catch my lives just at the end. She emailed me today and she said I catch them just at the end because she's at work. So this collaboration she wanted to do over like a live like this, but obviously that wasn't possible. So you'll see, as I say, possibly, I think next Wednesday possibly. Okay, let me take that away and let's do this. Yeah, it's definitely best to leave myself up there. It's a lot easier. So, other news. I can't remember if I talked about this yet or not. I think I might have breezed past it in mentioning, and I think I put it on a couple of comments when people talk about relevant things. But we do, as you know, Workaway Volunteers. It's a worldwide organisation and we host them. We don't volunteer, but we host people from many countries to come and help out here. And I have put a video up recently of some of our volunteers, and they comment on the Workaway site to like review you afterwards. So we have now discovered there are quite a few other types of volunteering platforms, if you like. I did go into all the others before I joined Workaway, and there were various reasons why I don't use any of the others. I think one, you had to pay as a host, so that was out. One is the one I was originally going to go on and do hosting with. It sounded brilliant. It was really for farms and homesteads, whereas Workaway can be anything at all, anything you need help with or want to volunteer doing, that's Workaway. So I thought, this one just farms and homestead. Yeah, that sounds good. And I've talked about this before. I decided not to do it because you have to offer food. And at that point, I said I couldn't afford to offer food, particularly if you offer food and they don't eat it. To me, that's wasteful when I was struggling at that point to feed ourselves. So I do want to offer food. Plus, these days you have all these different allergies and different things they want to eat. We're not near shops, so we can just go and get something suitable for them. And I certainly won't cook different things from what we eat to what they eat. So, for example, we eat meat a lot. Now, if they're vegetarians or vegans or anything else, that's great. That's fantastic. But I'm not then going to not have meat because they want something else. So work away, you can say you either cook for them or you don't cook for them, or you provide them with food but they cook it themselves, or you just provide, like we do, cooking facilities but they go out and buy their own food. Everyone's happy. So this other one I was going to go with before work away, it says you must supply food. So I said to them, is there any way, like with Workaway, we only ask for 3 hours help, and that way you don't have to provide food, whereas some places ask for 5 or more hours help a day, so they have to provide food. So I said, is there any option you have like that? They said, no, you have to supply food. So I explained to them what I explained to you, the reason I couldn't. And I said, so sadly, I withdraw my application to be a host, don't process it. And they came back and went, oh, don't worry about that. Just tick, yes, you do provide food. And when they turn up, just say to them, well, actually, we don't. I'm not doing that. So I said, no, thank you. I'm not doing that. Anyway, this other one we've now found is called World Packers. And I've never heard of it before. I've looked it up. It was a little bit laborious trying to fill in the forms, because it's one of those platforms where, call me stupid, but sometimes I went back to fill in other bits and it took you somewhere else. And then you can get to some bits of it, but not the rest of it. Whether it's because I wasn't processed yet, I don't know. But sometimes I could get into it again and sometimes I couldn't. When I wanted to add things that to me it wasn't clear. It says this one, you have to show every space they will share in photographs and their bed, that kind of thing, which is fine. I get that. Workaway doesn't like you to do that because they want people to come because they want to volunteer, not because, hey, that's the best accommodation. So I see both sides of that. So even though I did all those pictures, I said to I do want to clarify the fact that that is, what else you get in there in that room. You get a little kitchenette and which you can't show everything. The cupboards are shut. It was just hard to actually make sure I showed everything, which I couldn't really do with photographs. And there was a few other points, but I've signed up for it. I've just got to be approved. And I got a message today to say you've got one more bit you need to do, and that was to put they call it like your satellite location thing, that thing. And I did write back. I said, well, if you just type in Olive Farm Retreat Cyprus, you get the pin on Google as to where we are. If you put the location, which they're going to send to volunteers, like the Google location sort of number, I said, we don't like to do that, because if they don't follow directions to come here, which we send them, if anyone comes, we send them pictorial directions, because it's just open land. It'd be hard for you to find it. Otherwise, there's no road names or anything. So I said, if they follow our directions, they're fine. But if they just have the final location, like satellite number, latitude, longitude, that thing, if they have that and just try and make their way there, Google directs them down a deep ravine. So I explained all this, and I also sent them our pictorial directions as well, so they should come back and say that's all fine. The only other thing I didn't like about it so far was on signing up, it then suddenly sent me to this academy, which is basically watching videos, and if you watch the videos, they give you a little mark on your site to say you passed the academy by watching these videos. I get the idea of it, but they sent me to one. It was 6 videos and you had to watch them all. And they were more about volunteering rather than hosting. So I was like, well, why have they sent me here? Well, okay, perhaps you need to know what they're telling the volunteers. So I suffered 45 minutes of repetitiveness. Most of what they were saying was, remember, this is talk about the volunteers. If you have problems with your host, then try not to be aggressive and don't be physically aggressive or verbally aggressive. It was all this stuff. I was like, oh, for goodness sake. But luckily I could put a review at the end of the video. So I put, apart from being very repetitive, so why have you got 6 videos? But they keep saying this in all the videos. So it was repetitive. They had all these words down the side. Let's say it wasn't positivity, but those kind of click words down the side. They had those. A lot of words, every time they put things on the screen, were spelt wrong. So I put, it's a shame that I thought it was more of a professional platform, but spellings were wrong. I'm surprised they haven't kicked me out already, but it's fact. It's not being nasty or funny. It's saying if it's professional, you would expect things to be spelt correctly. What was the other thing I put? Oh, I put, I'm looking to be a host. So you have to say previous experience. So they already know, like, I'm a fantastic host. And I actually sent them that video because you can send a video up. So I put that video that I just posted recently with all the comments from our volunteers so far. So I put, as an experienced host and educator in many ways, because I'm offering education on certain things as well in my for people who apply because they want to learn things. So in that capacity, I felt the video was more geared to young people who have never left home before or have had to like work with people before, never been out of, like, you know, like pre-college or pre-uni type children, you know, who've got no idea of the world or how to speak to people and that. So I said, if people watching it are those people, then they probably learned something, but more than anything, it wasn't really relevant in any respect. So I'm trying to look to see if there's a host one. I found, that's why I say it's hard to navigate the platform really. There's one for beginner host. Well, I don't need to watch that. And I'm just frightened if I do watch that one, they give me credit for that. I'd be like, well, that's saying I didn't know what to do. So, yeah, you could put loads of pictures up. Once it's up and running, my site, if there should be a link to my one, I'll put that up for you so you can go and look what we're doing there. It's a bit different to here. Oh, the World Packers recommends you have people for 3 months plus. Work away, you can have them for any length of time. So from a few days, a day even, if it's someone to come and fit your kitchen for you, it might be a week or it might be a weekend. So anything for that. But this says 3 months. Now I looked into what was their policy if volunteers cancel. That's my only bugbear with Workaway. Sometimes they don't cancel and they don't tell you they're not coming. And when I can only have at the moment 2 people at a time travelling together, so it's like one booking, if they let you down, you've got no one for the time they've booked it for. This site looks like you can say, oh, on the actual calendar, it puts the volunteers icon. Now, I'm not sure when that icon appears. I think it's when they inquire, and there looks like a tick to say they've inquired and maybe awaiting answers to questions. Then it looks like there's another tick that comes that says confirmed. And I was like, that's ideal. I kept saying to Workaway, can you put confirmed, like say to them there's got to be a tick box to say you are 100% definitely coming. Then if they let you down and don't come, then it should be a penalised point on their account as a volunteer. And then if they do it, say 2-3 times, things happen, it can happen. Or if they just don't let you know, then they should be penalised. And after so many, say 3 penalised, then they're out. But this looks like you have to tick, or they have to tick to confirm. So that's ideal. So I'm thinking, but what about cancellations? Well, this one says, if they cancel before 7 days before they're supposed to be coming, that's okay. But if they cancel within the 7 days of them supposed to be turning up, then that is like bad, and I think they get like a bad mark. But bear in mind, I've just told you they said that you should really have them 3 months at a time, which we're not doing. But if you have them 3 months at a time, let's say you've blocked off that 3 months way back whenever they've booked it, and then 8 days before they're due to come, they cancel. There's nothing you can do about it. Now you've blocked off that 3 months. You're not very likely to suddenly get someone to fill that immediate 3 months. So I don't like that. But hey, that's no difference to what's happening to us at the moment. But that is another reason, if they come back and say, well, you really need to say 3 months at a time, that will be my reasoning, because it's not like a dorm where, like a dormitory setup, if someone doesn't turn up, hey, you've got loads of other people. So there's that. What else? There was something else. What was the other thing that they can cancel? There was something else. Oh, the meals, it just says you tick breakfast, lunch, dinner. Well, I just didn't tick any. So that was all right. I was concerned perhaps you had to feed them. Oh, the other reason one reason we wouldn't do 3 months is it's even the same when we were doing Airbnb. If you had hosts if we were hosting for a long time, that's when you normally get people, whether it be volunteers or guests, start to get over familiar, only in respect of, yes, but could we just do this? I know it says you can't, but could we do this? And could we do this? And do you mind if we do actually use your washing machine, even though it says you can't use a washing machine? Because we're here a long time now. So, that kind of thing. And funny enough, in one of the videos from World Packers, I keep wanting to say Workaway, from World Packers, it did actually say if you are allowed to stay 3 months or more at a time, then try not to get over familiar, and that's when things break down. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. I've never looked at what the volunteers here on Workaway, because we've never looked into that category, so I don't know the rules of that for volunteers. But because I was watching these volunteer videos, I've forgotten now what I was going to say. What did they say? Dawn, you should just say what you're thinking. Oh gosh, I had it and I've lost it again. What was it? It's about being over familiar. How long to work there for? They were saying as well about this, what I don't like about Workaway, you can like apply to many people at once, and then don't pick a country, for example, pick what you want to do rather than a country. So some people go, I want to go to Cyprus, let's like try and arrange with everyone and then pick one out. It wasn't that. It was another good thing, another biggie. Oh, I had it. Do you do that? Do you think of things and then like, oh, I can't remember now. Wait, let me think. I can't remember. Oh, and I had it. Oh, well, I'll come back to that. Let's do one thinking of that, the puzzle piece. So my question today was, in Greece, what was the name of the character that Olivia Newton-John played, Sandy? What was Sandy's surname? And the answer is Olsen. Sandy Olsen. I wonder if everyone got that. Sandy Olsen. So that was the question of that for today. Yeah, I have to think about this. Well, Packers, as I say, it was something from the point of view of volunteers, so I don't know. But I'll probably do a whole video all about that and the differences. I think it'd be nice to do a video on workaway and world packers and the differences between two, whether it be as a volunteer or which one you should go for regardless. Steve says he didn't know. No, that means I win today. You're lucky I haven't got the applause up. Oh, yes, I have a joke for you. The joke is a man went out of his house one morning and there was a great big hole outside and he didn't see it and he fell in the hole. He was really really put out by it. The next morning, he got up, opened his front door, went out, forgot about the hole and fell in it again. He said, I have to remember there's a hole right there. The third day, he got up again. He opened his front door. As he stepped out, you guessed it, he fell in the hole. He said, there's this great big hole here. Why can I not remember there's a hole? And I keep falling down the hole. The fourth morning, he got up. And he opened his door, and guess what? He fell down the hole. He's like, I'm going to have to remember there is a hole right outside my front door. I'm not going to fall in the hole tomorrow. And the next day, he got up, he opened the front door, and he remembered there's a hole. And he just jumped over it, and he was fine. And do you know what? That's the whole story. Oh dear, that was a bit sad, that one, wasn't it? Okay, I'm going to do some Q&A, so let's have a look at that. I had to take myself down there because I just got up and turned on my light, my big light. Ah, says Steve. Was it a pirate? Okay, let's have a look. Questions. These are questions I may have been asked or I may not have been asked. How many pomegranate trees do I have? Ooh, would anyone in the chat like to guess? How many pomegranate trees do I have? Let me just say, whatever you guess, it's probably a lot more. See if you can guess. How many pomegranate trees do I have? It's probably a lot more. That's your clue. It's double figures. How many pomegranate trees do I have? And there's a video somewhere where I go around and I count all my trees, each type of tree. Double figures, Steve. And if you put 1, 1, that would still be too few. Double figures. How many pomegranate trees do I have? There's some trees I've got so many of that I can't even count. Steve says 18. The answer is 33. Whoa, yes, 33 pomegranate trees. 33. What are my cat names? My cat's names. We did have Fossil, and Fossil died. And she was our second cat we had. No. Yes, second cat we had. We've got Pebbles, who is also a girl. So Pebbles is the really old one. What? Yes, 33. We had Pebbles, we've got Pebbles. She's the really old one. She's the tortoise shell colour one. So that's Pebbles. She's our oldest. She is really, really old now, really old. Then they found us Mr. Colin Waffles. Long story about why he's called that. Yes, Colin Waffles. Colin Waffles. Yes, Mr. Colin Waffles. And then found us was Kit. Now that's the big fluffy grey and white one is Kit. And then more recently, the Tizer that looks like a tiger is Tizer. And that's the little ginger and white kitten turned up here. So the only one we purposefully got was Fossil from the cat sanctuary that I did films of. And then Pebbles, friends of ours, said she had been dumped, it looked like, on the beach behind where they worked. So we went and collected her because they couldn't take a cat in. But Mr. Colin Waffles found us, Kit found us, and Tizer found us. Yes, if any of you want the story of Mr. Colin Waffles. Do you want the short recap? Sorry if you've heard this many a time, but people keep asking. This cat kept coming up here. And remember, there's no one lives around here. And he had a blue collar on. So we knew he was someone's, but no one lives around here. So, like, has he been dumped? I don't know. Why would he still have a collar on? So we kept saying the collar cat, the cat with the collar cat. And then it wasn't going. So then we bite the bullet and start feeding them. So I said to Mike, we need a name for it then. If it's staying, it's not going. So he kept saying collar cat, collar cat. So I said, what's a name similar to collar? And he said, well, it's definitely a girl. So I said, Colleen, definitely a girl with a collar, Colleen. Brilliant. We called him that for a while. And then I don't know how we found out. I think I suddenly had it or whatever. And I said, it's a boy. So we had to go and get him done. I think we were just checking what it was before we had him done. So Mike said, we can't say Colleen now. So I said, well, what's a boy's name similar to Colleen? So it's Colin. I don't like using people's names, like human names for animals, but it's Colin. Because we were calling Colleen and it was coming. So Colin sounds the same to him because he's a bit of a goof. So he kept coming to Colleen. And then the guy who runs the horse stables down from us, he doesn't live there. He said he's been up quite a few times now and he had a cat and that's gone. He took it from somebody else. And he said the cat's gone. So he's describing the cat for us to look out for. So we said, that's the cat that's up at ours. We've paid to have it done now and everything. So at that point we didn't have a lot of money, so I said, I'll come and get it then. So he put it in his truck, drove all the way back to the stables. Within an hour the cat was back again. So he took it one more time. No, the cat was back. So he said, oh look, if I pay you for the food, buy the food for it, it obviously wants to be there. So he said, would you keep it if I buy the food? So we're like, yeah, okay then. It's obviously, I was more concerned with it trying to find its way back. It lose itself. So he said, fine. He said, by the way, he said, its name's Waffles. So we tried to call it Waffles and its ears kept flicking like, no, that's not me. That's not me. So I said to Mike, oh, his name was Waffles. We need to keep that. And Mike said, well, no, we call him Colin. And he's answering to Colin. So I said, well, let's call him Colin Waffles because then he's got both his names. He's still the same cat. And for the joke of, we thought it was a girl, but it's definitely a boy. It's Mr. Colin Waffles. And it sounds such a grand name, doesn't it? Mr. Colin Waffles. So that's how he got the really long name. And then the next one, the fluffy one, the grey and white one that we call Kit, again, it was hanging around for ages, and we said, oh, look, there's the kitten. There's the kitten. Oh, there's the kitten. Oh, the kitten. Anyway, Mike goes, oh, it's a girl. And it wouldn't go. So yeah, we start feeding it. And he says, oh, what should we call it then? And I said, well, we call it kitten. Oh, look, there's the kitten. Because I'm determined not to name them at first. So there's the kitten. So he said, well, it's a girl, so we call it Kitty. That's a girl's name, Kitty. Because I said, it's been so long, we've just been calling it the kitten. So he said, well, Kitty then, let's have Kitty. And then, of course, Mike's not very good, like sexing cats. So I said, it's a boy. When I went to get done at the vet, it's a boy. So he said, oh, we can't call it Kitty now. So I said, we'll just call it Kit. Let's call it Kit. And he said, oh, is that still a girl's name? And then he went, no, Night Rider. If any of you know Night Rider from, I think, 80s, late 70s, early 80s, a TV program. Kit was like a robotic type computerized car. It was Kit, and Kit was definitely a male voice. So he said, right, we'll call it Kit then. Anyway, Tizer comes. Now, we couldn't sex her for a while because she won't come anywhere near us. I said, right, let's wait till we can get her. So we got her, and Mike said, I'll name her. So I'm going to name her Tizer. So I think he was hedging his bets in case we got the sex right again. But Tizer is a girl. But Mike's so used to saying he. Mike keeps saying he. He's trying to correct himself. But yeah. Let's thank goodness that Mike was never a vet. So that is the long story. Kit, the father of Tesla cars. Yes, Steve. Yes, absolutely. That was way beyond the days of computerized cars. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I like the theme tune to that. It was, if any of you don't know it, just Google theme tune to, what did I say it was called? Night Rider. Night Rider. That's what it was called. I think it was Night with a K. I think it was Night Rider with a K. I might be wrong. But Night Rider. And I think that was one word. So Google that. The thing I've been Googling lately is HR Puffin stuff. When I was a child, I saw the film of it. I think it was on English TV on Sunday nights, I'm guessing, late Sunday. And I like the film of it. My mum had the film on videotape. I don't know where it is now. And I really loved the songs in that because there's songs in it. So I thought I'm going to Google them, see if I can find on YouTube. And yes. So I've made a little folder. If you look at my playlist, you'll find a folder. I think it's on private because I make up my own folders, but you'll see my folder and playlist. If you want them, then just ask me and I'll open up the playlist. I've got, I don't know if you'll know them. There's one called Different. That's a good song. Actually, that's quite a good song for those who are upset by things like their appearance and bullying and all that. It's a very good song. I'd rather be different than be the same. That's the words on it. So that's a good one. Different. I found a friend in you. Living Island. Some I didn't really remember, so I didn't save those. There's about 5 songs there. And I couldn't remember how Jack Wilde's a character who's an English actor. He was in Oliver. I can't remember. I remembered sort of how he got to the island, Living Island. I remembered that because it's in the song. But I couldn't remember about the flute because I'm sure he had the flute when he got on the boat that went to Living Island. And I was like, but why would he have a flute that's alive before he went? And I've just found a clip that I think I put with it, that he gets kicked out of band practice and he's got a normal flute and then he trips or throws the flute away, but the flute goes, and that sets off the magic, and it becomes Freddie the talking flute. So that's how, and I couldn't remember. And then the witch, she's like up on a motorised broomstick with a sidecar. If any of you haven't watched it, Americans will know it because it's American, even though they had Jack Wilde, a very famous British actor, child actor. And so the witch sees he's got this magic float, and that's what the whole thing is about. She wants this magic float. So she sets up this pretty boat. He gets in it. It says to live in Ireland. He gets in it with the float, and then as it goes out to sea, she takes control of it and turns it into a black and white boat. But then he gets rescued by the good people of Live in Ireland, one of which is the mayor, which is HR Pufnstuf. Oh dear. So if you haven't seen it, think of a prequel to the puppets of Sesame Street, like the human-sized ones and small human-sized ones. So yeah, more of my childhood memories. I'll have to stick that in my videos where I talk about my childhood memories on my other channel. I've got a whole playlist of my childhood memories. It's what I love talking about. I did put a short up the other day talking about most of you guys call it Wendy House, so I put it up as that, but we call them playhouses. My little memories of that I did on the short the other day. So yeah, so that's that. That is my update for you all. I have nothing else. Oh, garden update. I've just done a little bit of quick bit of footage today to show you what I'm up to, because I haven't really shown you what I've been doing. It's basically relining 2 raised beds and spending all day every day cutting up with hand shears, cutting up leaves and twigs into tiny bits to build that up, and that will be a few months just doing that. And then Mike's making surrounds for my hugelkultur bed, so they're only about this high and they're not filled in. It's just if it gets windy or an animal comes along, they can't dig it all out and it all goes everywhere. So that's really what we're doing on that. So I'm going to finish there today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to those sharing. Very appreciative of that. I do look sometimes where people put mentions, so I do check that now and then. So thank you for that. And it's Wednesday today. Oh, don't forget to go and check out Sammy's videos. As I say, I've linked the part 1 and part 2 below. If you watch this, Sammy, hello. And thanks to all you live in the chat. If you're watching this back later, don't forget to drop a comment so I can say hello personally to you too. So until Friday, I'm playing a movie. It's Movie Friday, Film Footage Friday on Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. I don't know what I'm sharing yet, but there will be a movie. And Monday, live. Don't panic, something's wrong with me, but I'm going to share a video on Monday just so I have a little break because I'm up to here with things at the minute. So Monday, it will be one of my walks in my surroundings, my rural surroundings. I don't know which one, but it will be something to just chill out and watch. So don't panic about me. I will be in the chat. So if you want to chat, then you can do that. Check out Steve's link. Steve, put your link underneath as well, because a lot of people say they can't get the chat afterwards. So Steve, as I say, you're always welcome to put your link because you're here on 99.9999 lives. So check out Steve's link below as well in the comments, and I will see you soon. As always, Meraki.